Hello and welcome to Embracing the Fight, the podcast designed to normalize real conversations around physical health, mental health, stability, survival, and growth. This show was never about perfection, it was about persistence. And in 2026, Embracing the Fight has evolved. I'm cancer free. After 22 years in mining and minerals, my position was eliminated in August 2024. And instead of panicking, instead of shrinking, instead of accepting a story that said, "This is as good as it gets," I said no more. I decided to bet on me, not because it was easy, not because it was safe, but because staying where I was had become more dangerous than trying something new. And during that process, while navigating job loss, survivorship, identity shifts, and financial uncertainty, I did something intentional. I educated myself, not just for my own survival, but so I could help other people land on their feet. Because too many people fall, not because they're lazy, broken, or irresponsible, but because they were never taught how to navigate systems that were never designed to be simple. Before we get into today's episode, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Embracing the Fight on YouTube. You can also find me on Facebook, TikTok, X, Blue Sky, and Instagram. On Instagram, it's Embracing the Fight with the underscore at the end. Also, if you would like to be a guest on Embracing the Fight, send an email to operations@diversitydesigned.com. Subject line: Guest now that the business has been taken care of. Let's talk about something serious. What you don't know can hurt you. We've all heard the phrase, "What you don't know won't hurt you." It sounds comforting. It sounds protective. It sounds like peace. But when it comes to housing, healthcare, financial stability, rural living, and opportunity, that statement is not just wrong, it's dangerous. What you don't know can keep you broke. What you don't know can keep you sick. What you don't know can keep you renting when ownership is possible. What you don't know can keep you feeling trapped in situations that actually have exits. And today, we're breaking that cycle. We are going to challenge 4 beliefs that quietly keep people stuck, especially in rural and underserved communities. Rural means poor. Home ownership isn't possible for me. Healthcare is limited in rural areas. Homelessness is permanent. Let's start with the first one. Rural does not mean poor. Somehow, we've allowed society to equate rural with lack. Lack of money, lack of opportunity, lack of access, lack of education, lack of growth. But rural does not mean poor. Rural often means lower housing costs. It means land ownership opportunities. It means lower property taxes. It means less competition. It means stronger community ties. And it means access to federal and state programs that are specifically designed for rural residents. Here's what most people don't realize: there are entire funding streams dedicated exclusively to rural America. Agricultural grants, rural small business development programs, infrastructure funding, broadband expansion, rural healthcare initiatives, and rural home ownership assistance. These programs exist because policymakers recognize that rural communities are essential, but often under-resourced. The problem is not where you live. The problem is lack of information. Programs do not help people who don't know they exist. And if you've been told your entire life that nothing comes out of small towns, you stop looking. If you believe rural equals poor, you never check eligibility. You assume the door is closed without ever touching the handle. But here's the truth. If you live in a rural area, you may qualify for more assistance than someone living in a major metropolitan city, not less. More. Let's talk about housing, because housing is stability, dignity, and foundation. One of the biggest myths in this country is that home ownership is reserved for people with perfect credit, massive down payments, and six-figure incomes. That is not true. The United States Department of Agriculture, yes, the USDA, offers rural development home loan programs. These programs were created specifically for people living in rural and certain suburban areas. They offer 0% down payment options. That means you may not need tens of thousands of dollars saved just to get started. They offer competitive interest rates. They have income based eligibility guidelines. And here's the part that surprises people: there are families renting right now, paying more in rent than they would in a mortgage, who could qualify to own, not because they suddenly became wealthy, but because the program exists. They just never checked. Not because they wouldn't qualify, but because no one told them to look. And housing support doesn't stop at buying a home. There are also home repair loans and grants available through rural development programs. That means assistance for roof repairs, plumbing repairs, electrical upgrades, heating and cooling systems, accessibility modifications for seniors and people with disabilities. There are elderly homeowners living with leaking roofs who qualify for grants, not loans, and don't know it. T here are families dealing with unsafe wiring, mold, or failing HVAC systems who could receive help and don't know it. And when people don't know, stress compounds. Financial stress becomes health stress becomes mental stress becomes family stress, and all along there may have been a program designed to help, quietly waiting. What you don't know can hurt you. Let's talk about healthcare. Another belief that needs to be broken is the idea that healthcare is inaccessible or non existent in rural areas. Yes, rural healthcare faces challenges. Hospitals close, provider shortages exist, travel distances can be real. But there are systems actively working to close those gaps. Every state has a state office of rural health. These offices work to improve hospital access in rural counties. They expand telehealth services so patients can see specialists without driving hours. They support mental health providers. They connect residents to sliding scale clinics based on income. They recruit healthcare professionals into underserved areas. Telehealth alone has changed the game. You may be able to speak with a therapist, a primary care provider, or a specialist from your living room. Mental health support is no longer limited to big cities, but people still suffer silently. Why? Because no one told them these options exist, because they assume they can't afford it, because they think insurance is the only pathway, because one bad experience made them give up on the entire system. Knowledge protects you. Information reduces fear. Access reduces suffering. Now, let's talk about something that makes people uncomfortable: homelessness. We need to stop treating homelessness like it is a permanent identity. Homelessness is a condition. It is not who someone is, it is where they are. And where you are can change. In Macon, Georgia, there is an organization called Daybreak that helps individuals who are unhoused. They provide emergency shelter, case management, job readiness support, housing navigation, meals, and essential services. That's one organization in one city. There are nonprofit organizations like this in almost every community: faith based organizations, community action agencies, workforce development programs, transitional housing initiatives, rental and utility assistance programs. So, why don't more people access them? Because information isn't centralized, because people are overwhelmed, because pride keeps people silent, because asking for help feels like failure, because nobody teaches life navigation in school. We teach algebra, we teach history, we teach testing, but we do not teach people how to access systems. We do not teach people how to search for grants, how to read eligibility guidelines, how to advocate for themselves inside bureaucratic processes. So people stay stuck. Not because they are incapable, but because they are uninformed. Now, let me give you 5 practical steps you can take to move forward. Step one, get specific. Do not say, I need help. That's too broad. Say, I need rental assistance. I need down payment assistance. I need home repair support. I need job training. I need mental health services. I need health insurance. Clarity creates direction. Step two, search strategically. Use phrases like your county name plus housing assistance, your state plus rural development grants, your city plus homeless services, USDA rural eligibility map, state office of rural health plus your state. Go directly to gov websites, county websites, state department websites. Social media spreads awareness, not eligibility. Go to the source. Step three, call, don't just click. Websites are often outdated. Funding cycles change. Rules change. A 5-minute phone call can save months of confusion. Ask direct questions, take notes, follow up. You are not bothering them. It is literally their job. Step four, show up. Visit housing authorities, workforce centers, community action agencies, health clinics. Visibility matters. People help people they see. Step five, keep your documents ready. ID, social security card, tax returns, proof of income, bank statements, utility bills, lease agreements. Preparation turns opportunity into progress. Here's the truth. People do not suffer because help doesn't exist. They suffer because they don't know how to access it. Assumption is expensive. Research is free. And now I want to speak from the heart. Through Diversity Designed LLC, my mission is to help rural communities improve their standard of living through education. Not handouts, education. We teach people how to access funding, understand loan programs, navigate systems, build stability, because empowerment multiplies. When one person learns, 5 others benefit. When one family becomes homeowners, generations shift. When one entrepreneur succeeds, a town grows. If you live in a rural area, you are not behind. You are positioned. You just need information. If you're struggling right now, overwhelmed, unhoused, living paycheck to paycheck, feeling forgotten, hear me clearly. You are not stuck. You may just be uninformed, and that can change. Starting today, knowledge is power. Information creates access. Access creates opportunity. Opportunity changes lives. This has been Embracing the Fight. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Visit www.diversitydesign.com because what you don't know can hurt you, but what you learn can transform your life. Thank you so much for checking out this episode of Embracing the Fight. And as always, have an absolutely amazing day.